Before we continue with this video, I want to show you guys, look, I'm wearing Petkovic jersey, huh? It's the new jersey from Brazilian, and it comes with the Petkovic number 10 jersey, right? Yeah, it's Pet's jersey. And a lot of people say, hey, wasn't Pet number 43? No, but he did wear Flamengo's number 10 jersey, okay? So, yeah, it comes here with, look, really cool embossed details here, right? The autograph, man, and that 2001 from the free kick goal against Vasco, spectacular. You can find it at Flamengo's official stores from Brazilian. Guys, red and black greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on notifications, hit the bell, and leave that cool like on the video. We're here directly from Boy, Brazil, right? A steakhouse where many Brazilians will come during the World Cup. We're here to bring you important information about Flamengo's signings and also the World Cup. We'll bring many important things here. Right off the bat, I wanted to bring you some important news about the Brazilian national team's goalkeeper, Leo Nanete. You know, the Brazilian national team's coaching staff is not going to take responsibility for this. But there is full confidence that he has the quality to be one of the top goalkeepers. In fact, there's almost a sense of regret that he's not one of the 3 goalkeepers who can be used. He's the 4th goalkeeper, a goalkeeper who came to help. No, it's to have 2 teams in training, right? So you have 2 substitutes. So Leo Nanete has really stood out, and the footage from training shows him standing out even more. You have Everton, who isn't anymore these days. He used to be a good goalkeeper, but he never really was. Look, right, if you had brought Fabio here, maybe it would have worked out better. Now, Everton, honestly, I don't really think so. As a goalkeeper, he was never an outstanding goalkeeper, right? A good goalkeeper, yes, but never an exceptional one. And Leo Nanete, who, by the way, was highly praised by everyone, including Allison, right? Allison praised him a lot. And the information is that Ancelotti is really liking Leo Nanete a lot. That feeling we mentioned, similar to regret but not quite, he knows he's just a kid. If they needed another goalkeeper, there are definitely other professionals available. It wouldn't be Leo Nanete, but from what he has here, out of the 4 he has here, Ancelotti has already identified that Leo Nanete is not the one with the least quality. Look how crazy that is. Impressive, right? Impressive. And that's what I tell you guys. I see a lot of Flamengo fans asking for a goalkeeper signing, asking Flamengo if they end up negotiating Rossi to bring in another goalkeeper. There's Andrew. He was expensive, not cheap, almost 30, practically 35 million raise. Yeah, and you have Rossi, who made some mistakes, yes, but he's an excellent goalkeeper. For me, he's a better goalkeeper than Everton, the one we were just talking about here. And to top it off, Leo Nanete, who for me is also better than Everton. Yeah, there's Diogo Alves too, exactly. Gabriel Orfo is reminding me here that there's Diogo Alves. So why would Flamengo sign a goalkeeper now? I'll pass this question to you. Do you need to sign a goalkeeper if your current one is excelling in the Brazilian national team? Honestly, I can't see the need to sign a goalkeeper, all right? And before we continue here with Flamengo's news, I want to remind you that we have something here. Amazing odds on stake. I'll leave it here in the pinned comment and also here in the QR code so you can secure your registration at stake right now. A fantastic platform with many options for you. Today I created one here. It's so cool. So nice. Because I was even able to add things like saves by the Egyptian goalkeeper, more than 3 and 3.5 saves by the Egyptian goalkeeper, more than 6 and 6.5 corners. We can have fun. We can make several options. Register now and play responsibly. It's for fun for those over 18, not for investment. And now I'm going to leave you with one that's so cool, so spectacular. I decided to leave the ticket already prepared for you in the pinned comment. You can get this ticket in the pinned comment. Take a look at how this one turned out. Yeah, Brazil to win the game against Egypt, over 1.5 total goals in the game. Goal over 0.5 in the first half. Total corners over 6.5. It's an easy odd to hit. Nothing is guaranteed, but it's simple to play with if you play responsibly. But it's paying almost 2 there, 1.97. I'll leave the bet slip ready for you here in the pinned comment. Look, let me show you the amounts Flamengo is set to receive, okay? Yeah, FIFA won't pay the $11,000 as expected, but rather about $5,000. So, Flamengo has a minimum revenue of about 3.5 million reais. It could be a little more, okay? Yeah. There are 9 players in the World Cup. Alexandre Danilo, Leo Pereira, Lucas Paqueta, Brazilian national team, Arrascaeta, De La Cruz, Guilherme Varela, Uruguay, Carrascal, Colombia. Goncalo Plata, Ecuador national team. So they asked me about Vinha. No, Vinha is on loan to River Plate, so that's River's responsibility. Even though he's a Flamengo player, okay? It's the club that's paying his salary. The club that's loaning him right now is not Flamengo. He belongs to Flamengo, but he has a contract. He's considered a River player. He has a contract with River, okay? So this situation here, we know that Flamengo gets 225,000 raised per day for 9 players, okay? So it's not much. It could be a lot more, right? We could be talking about 475,000, a little more than that. And the FIFA amount dropped, okay? It wasn't that amount. It won't be that 11,000 anymore. It's going to be $5,000 now. Yeah, we have some information here. So, from UOL, confirming everything we've reported in the last few weeks. They don't give credit, as always. They take our information and don't give credit. Yeah, and obviously there's a statement here from a source connected to Flamengo's board, right? Yeah, that he brings on UOL. And it ends up confirming everything we've been saying about the expenses, okay? Raiza Simplicio on Placar as well, okay? That Flamengo's transfer window will be more discreet, that there won't be any huge signings, right? Like Samuel Lino, Carrascal, Paqueta, especially Paqueta. But we also don't need to think the transfer window will be that bad. Flamengo will sign players, right? Yeah, Flamengo can make deals with longer payment installments and all that. Yeah, they're going to look for young players, scouts, like we've been saying here every day. Yeah, there won't be any signings, for example, of 30 million or 40 million euros. There won't be that 40 million euro signing. Yeah, that's really not going to happen because there's another situation here that we brought to you from the Copa do Brasil, where Flamengo was eliminated and then Flamengo didn't. They can't receive that money that was tied to those targets to at least reach the semifinals, and it was a considerable amount. And besides that, there are other situations where Flamengo didn't sell. Alassian, everything was already agreed. Flamengo didn't sell Lohan, which was also all set. Do you remember? These were deals that were on track and didn't happen, and Flamengo will need to redo them, maybe for less. Okay? Yeah, that thing about BAP talking about a billion, a little over a billion in football. Yeah, we've already told you about that too, which includes the salary issue, right? The players' salaries too. Annually, which amounts to 450 to 480 million per month, and that can increase, right?
Working with young players Boto had already signed, like Di Maria, before anyone knew him, you see.
Orphan speaking here, young players, okay? I'll bring up Boto's history at Botafogo regarding this matter. So the Flamengo has already spent, okay, approximately a lot of money on Paqueta, on Andrew, and on the payroll. So over the course of the year, 1 billion and 100 million, it ends up leaving an amount between 90, 89, and 100 million reais. It also depends on Flamengo's sales, which so far haven't included any major deals. They need to manage to negotiate the sale of some players. So even the newspaper Odia is reporting here that in search of reinforcements, Flamengo could spend at most 89.13 million in the second half of the year. They would have a reduced budget for signings. So once again, it's more information that confirms what we've been saying. That Flamengo will have to scout, will have to look for market opportunities. And here we have the main signings, the signings made by Boto in his career. Yeah, for example, in terms of financial and sporting return, Di Maria Benfica bought from Rosario Central for 6.5 million euros, sold to Real Madrid for 25. David Luiz Benfica bought from Vitória for 700,000 euros, sold to Chelsea for 25 million euros. Ederson from Benfica signed for free and sold to Manchester City for 40 million euros. Ramirez bought from Cruzeiro for 7.5 million euros, and sold to Chelsea for 22 million euros. Itzel Benfica bought for 7 million euros and sold to Zenit for 40 million euros. Dodo from Shakhtar bought from Coritiba for 2 million euros and sold to Fiorentina for 14.5 million euros. If Mauro Cesar's statements are confirmed with people bringing it up here, Flas supporter, it will be an interesting transfer window, high expectations. The Portuguese coach needs to show what he's here for, and he can show it, right? So, Mauro Cesar is the one bringing the information that we've been talking about, that Flamengo is making signings based on scouting. Is that right? That's it. A lot of people are confirming our information. Well, we have some important information to share with you. Flamengo and Botafogo have players among the top 3 most valuable players in the country. Look how crazy that is, Flamengo and Botafogo, right? Yeah. Impressive. Botafogo is in this crisis, but they still have a player in the top 3. Lucas Paquetá from Flamengo. Danilo from Botafogo. Right? Both called up by Carlo Ancelotti, okay? So for example, it's... Ooh. Coincidentally, according to Transfer Market, the players from Botafogo and Flamengo have exactly the same market value. They consider that Paquetá would have dropped to 32 million reais. I don't agree with that because he was just signed for 41, 42. So for me, it's crazy to say that Paquetá was signed for 42, was called up, and I disagree with Transfer Market. Because for me, Paquetá was signed, was called up, is playing really well, had offers. There were teams thinking about paying 70 million euros for him. Tottenham was negotiating, right? Remember? There were European clubs keeping an eye on City. Clubs wanted to sign Paquetá. Why did his value drop to 32? I disagree. I think Danilo's value could really be in the 30s, between 32 and 40. Now Paquetá is worth even more with the recent call-up, 45 easily, okay? And then the list also includes Vitor Roque. And they put Vitor Roque with a higher value than Paquetá. Paquetá at 32 and Vitor Roque at 38, right? It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's the system. It's the system. The system. Yeah. It's unbelievable. So Vitor Roque isn't in the World Cup. Paquetá is in the World Cup, and he was signed for much more money now. And playing really well. And Vitor Roque is worth more than Paquetá. Yeah, some things just don't make sense, right? And now bringing here for you the Flamengo players who haven't played 13 matches in the Brasileirão and could end up leaving for another club in the domestic market, okay? Obviously, most of them won't leave. Lucas Paquetá has played 12 matches. He just arrived. Jorginho has played 11 matches at Arrascaeta and Plata. Plata has 10, okay? Some team might sign Plata, but Plata is playing really well. Flamengo won't negotiate Plata. No, and they even considered it, but not anymore. Ayrton Lucas and Everton Cebolinha. 9 now. Ayrton Lucas is a possibility, but I don't think the domestic market will have the money to pay for Ayrton Lucas. Everton Cebolinha, okay. For Flamengo to secure some situation. Pulgar and Emerson Royal. 8. Pulgar is not leaving for Brazilian football. Forget it. Okay, forget it. My concern is abroad. Yeah, Emerson Royal just arrived too. Yeah, Alassian, Vitão, and Saul. Vitão just arrived. Saul, that situation, right? He needs to recover and all. He's played 6 games. Yeah, Alassian, yes. Alassian, I think look, out of all these I'm seeing here, Everton, Cebolinha, and Alassian, who are among the players with less than 13 games and who can be transferred. For me, Everton, Cebolinha, and Alassian, it's a done deal. The deal is closed. They'll sell if any Brazilian football club is interested. Danilo, 4 matches. Danilo came to finish his career at Flamengo. Then there's João Souza, right? And Joshua as well. And they won't leave for Brazilian football either. Right? Yeah, just to show you here the players who actually have less than 13 matches and who can still be transferred within Brazilian football in the Brazilian league. Teams that compete in the Brazilian Championship.
Gabriel, just to add something here for the people who are still watching on the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel, there are more players. Gabriel, let me even bring it up here to talk to you. Another Flamengo player who hasn't played 13 games yet is Luis Araujo. A player who doesn't have a guaranteed future and is even a bit bothered by being a substitute. We know that Plata is in good form, as we mentioned. Paquetá can play in that position, Carrascal can play in that position. So Luis Araujo also hasn't completed the 13 games, and if an offer comes up,
he might be leaving if an offer comes in.
He might leave Flamengo?
That's it. I got it. That's it. Gabriel Orfo is here with us at Boy Brazil. Look, the Copa break is going to help Flamengo recover their injured players, okay? Leo Ortiz and Jorginho are in the treatment room. They should be available for the mid-season training with Jardim. So 2 big pieces of news, 2 important reinforcements for Flamengo for the game against Benfica for the mid-season training. Okay, so according to Globo Esporte, Leo Ortiz was the last one to join this list, right? The defender has a muscle injury in the back of his right thigh, suffered during the win over Coritiba. And the recovery is estimated to take about a week. So he's traveling on vacation with his family in Paris, but he's still being monitored and evaluated by the club, okay? Saul is also undergoing treatment right now, right? We've already talked about this. He's even training during his vacation, getting ready. He's another one as well. Actually, it's not 2 reinforcements, it's 3, but that's because Saul was never really out. He just wants to get ready. The real reinforcements are Jardim and Leo Ortiz, okay? So Jardim, who couldn't go to the World Cup and everything, also wasn't called up by the Italian national team. Italy missed the World Cup, and he could have helped with those penalties, right? He suffered a fracture in his right toe during the defeat against Palmeiras. And he was left out of the matches against Cusco and Curitiba, the last 2 before the break. And Jardim then is also another one who should strengthen Flamengo on the trip to Portugal to play the friendly there with Benfica and 2 other European teams, right? One team from Scotland and the other team is, I think, from England, from the Championship. They play in the Championship. It's not Bournemouth, no, it's the... Man, I'll remember. It's Birmingham. I remembered. Okay, so that's it. So we should have the reinforcement of Jorginho and Leo Ortiz, right? On the 28th, Flamengo's delegation will travel to Portugal, where they'll have a mid-season training camp to play those matches I mentioned to you as well, right? And the squad will be missing a number of players during this period in case those players, right, are still there. There's also the World Cup issue, right? They'll get a vacation, so those players won't be here. So we have Alexandro, Leo Pereira, Lucas Paqueta, Carrascal, Plata, Arrascaeta, Varela, and De La Cruz, okay? The club will wait for these athletes to return to understand what physical condition the group will be in at the end of the competition. So it's not a vacation, okay? It's not a vacation, no. At least according to GE's information, Flamengo will evaluate. But Flamengo will end up giving them a few days off. There's no way around it. If the guy is coming back from the World Cup, then you think, well, it's training, it's fine, it's the mid-season training period, right? But let's see what happens. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you all once again. I'm going to leave the ticket here, right, for our tip on steak, okay? It's in the pinned comment, and you can also access it through the QR code, right? Always remember, right? Don't forget that this is just for fun. It's for you to enjoy yourself, right? It's not an investment. It's just for fun, okay? Yeah, and it's for people over 18. I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe below, turn on the notification bell, and leave a cool like on the video. Greetings, I'm Negras, and this is Flamengo. Thanks.